It's a beautiful day today, so I thought why not to make another video on my Wichco HD channel. And I've thought about what topic to do, and I figured out is the Lexus IS250 slow, the second generation. As you can see, I am the proud IS250 owner. Last night I was thinking for hours, but I came up with an answer, and I have to be honest. I mean, I don't want to offend any Lexus IS250 owners, but come on, you have to admit this car is so fast. I mean, IS350 owners, like, they are slow asses. This is like the engine is smaller, which means it's lighter. It even has a F-Sport badge, so what more do you want? But anyway, I'm kidding. The question is, the answer is a lot more complex, so let's hop in for a joyride since it's a very nice weather, and I'm just gonna give you my thoughts about it, so let's hop in and let's go. All right, let's go. That woke me up really fast. For a small and compact sedan, this car is a bit on a heavier side. From 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, it takes around 8 seconds, which is kind of in the middle of, it's not an ordinary sedan, it's not so slow, but it's not fast either. And I think many people are calling it a slow ass because it has a V6, and when you hear a car has a V6, you immediately think it has over 250 horsepower, like minimum 250 horsepower, but this one is a very small V6 engine. It doesn't have the turbo, so it doesn't have a big amount of torque as well. And if you ask me, that is a bigger issue, not the horsepower, it's the torque. Specifically, when you go uphill, you do feel there is very little torque for this heavy chassis. And if you ask me, uphills are where this car's weakness is. The transmission kicks down fairly well, but it does tend to stay on the higher gears. I've also upgraded the exhaust, so now it sounds like it has over 250 horsepower, so I'm turning this car to be the opposite of a sleeper, like a, I don't know what is the name, like a show-off car, I don't know. But yeah, I still love this car, by the way. So I've owned this car for around 4.5 to almost 5 years, and you probably saw my license plate. I live in Europe, which is a great segue back to the topic of, is this car slow? Well, if you ask me, it depends where you live and how do you see this car as. If you see this car as a sports car, it's gonna disappoint you. If you're a regular buyer, this car has plenty of power for regular use. And when I say it depends on where you live, well, if you live in US where the roads are wide, there's lots of straights, just like this road, you're gonna find this car lacking in power. But in Europe, 208 horsepower is a luxury to have. In most of Europe, we have narrower roads with more corners than just straights. That's why IS350 wasn't even offered in Europe. There is no need for it. For European market, there was even IS220, which is a diesel. So IS250 isn't even the weakest option, the weakest engine option available in Europe. The car culture in America, I mean, they got used to cars over 300 horsepower, so of course when they sit in the IS250, it's gonna be so slow to them. Meanwhile, in Europe, there are still cars that are being sold as new that only have 60 horsepower or 70. So yeah, it's just a difference in car culture. I forgot to say, there was an option for a manual in IS250, and if you're planning to buy the IS250 and you're scared that the car is gonna be too slow for you, you might go with the manual option because the car is lighter. The horsepower, you lose a lot less with the manual transmission than automatic. most likely it's noticeably quicker than the automatic. So speaking of transmission, let's put it into sport mode and give it and already well above the speed limit. The stories from the car community saying this car is slow reminds me so much of the BRZ, the people who are saying the BRZs are slow. It's kind of the same story here, although it's a sedan, not a coupe, and both cars look exotic and look fast, but they're not quite as fast as a proper sports car. But just like in BRZ, there is a charm to a less powerful engine. You don't get to the speed limit as quick, so you enjoy it more. In the corners, I am so impressed. It is also a rear-wheel drive car, which I so love. It gives that extra push through the corners. I mean, again, this is more of a handling car than a horsepower junkie car like the IS250 is. So, final thoughts. Well, if I'm living in America, I would have been out driving the IS250. But I'm not living in America, and the IS250 for Europe has plenty enough of power, and it still does a great job for what it is. And that is not a complete full-on sports car, but it is a comfortable, economical cruiser that you can have fun with in corners, that still has the exotic V6 sounds, and what more do you want? I hope you enjoyed it and that my explanation was a good one, and take care.